this week's podcasts.english.com business podcast, we're going to be talking about the rise of social media and the impact it's having on the business world. With me is Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Jackie.
And you're a boss. Is this a problem for you?
Well, I think recently it's become more of a trend in the workplace where with Twitter and Facebook and different forms of social media and more people being able to access it, we're finding that people are spending an awful lot of time apparently distracted or using those social media websites during working hours.
Can you give some examples about how work is being affected?
Well, an obvious one is meetings. A few years ago in meetings it was very easy to hold people's attention, for everybody to participate and be involved, but more and more what we're seeing is one or two people sitting in meetings who are looking at their iPhones or their laptops or whatever they have with them in the meeting and typing and apparently not listening or being part of the meeting. So, and that is a problem. That's definitely a concern that's happening more and more.
How do you deal with that?
With difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing is to have some standards and policies that you ask people to comply with. The first one is to try and discourage that happening.
I mean, they obviously think that it's fine to do that. They're not embarrassed that they're doing it?
I think it's something that is now part of everyday life for most people. And I think making the distinction between doing it in their own time and continuing to do it in work time is a boundary that people are trying to resolve.
Right.
particularly employers who are finding that it is becoming quite rapidly a challenge in the workplace.
Yes, and it's not just people using their mobiles inappropriately. It's accessing personal stuff on the computers as well, Facebook, etc.
We don't try and stop people doing it, but we do ask them to do it in their own time during their lunch break or perhaps when they're having a coffee or a tea. But we are finding that increasingly people are doing it for longer periods of time during working hours.
So they've got their Facebook page open while they're doing other things as well, work-related things.
Yes, they have. I think because it's part of their everyday life now, they do find it very difficult to make that distinction between what they can do at work and what they should leave for another time. And I think there's a whole generation who are finding it difficult to adjust to that.
Well, it's very much a 21st century business problem, isn't it? You, the listeners who are bosses, do you have problems like this in your workplace? If you do, write in and tell us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Kevin. Very interesting.
Pleasure.